Have you ever felt the weight of words, yours or someone else's, pressing against your mind, demanding a reaction you didn't want to give? Have you ever wanted to speak, but to speak in such a way that your words resonate like a bell in a quiet room, pure, clear, undeniable? Not with anger, not with force, not with the desperate desire to be heard, but with the precision of thought itself. Carl Jung, one of the most profound psychologists of the 20th century, spoke often about the conscious mind, the shadow and the power of self-awareness. He understood that our words are extensions of our inner world, mirrors of our psyche. To speak effectively, to speak with influence, is not to dominate with volume. It is to dominate with presence, clarity, and the integrity of one's character. Imagine a moment, a heated discussion, someone trying to assert their will, their voice climbing like a tide, trying to drown yours. What if, instead of meeting their storm with another storm, you could respond with a calm so deep, so controlled, that your voice becomes an anchor in the chaos? That is the essence of mental sovereignty. That is what Jung would call the integration of your inner self, where reason, emotion, and awareness align to produce a force stronger than any shouting. Let's start with a simple principle. The measure of your power is not in the volume of your voice, but in the weight of your words. When someone raises their voice, they are attempting to impose a temporary reality, an illusion of dominance. But true strength is silent. It does not need to prove itself because it is rooted in self-possession. As Jung said, knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darkness of other people. To silence the noise of others, you must first master the silence within yourself. Here is the first response you can use, a phrase of profound simplicity yet immense power. I do not need to raise my voice to be heard. Consider it your shield and your declaration. It is not confrontation, it is clarity. It is not defensiveness, it is self-possession. Picture a workplace scenario, a family argument, or even a tense conversation with a stranger. As the other person climbs in volume, attempting to dominate, you speak this phrase calmly. Immediately the dynamic shifts. You have not insulted, dismissed, or challenged their ego. You have elevated the conversation to a plane where emotion alone cannot dictate the outcome. Notice what happens. The room, the conversation, even the energy itself subtly changes. People begin to recognize that you are not participating in the fight. They are. And as Jung teaches, the shadow reacts when it is met with awareness. You are no longer reacting to the external chaos. You are commanding the internal order. The second response deepens this mastery. Your words reflect more about you than they do about me. This phrase is a mirror. It is an acknowledgement without surrender, a deflection without hostility. In the heat of argument, when sarcasm or contempt is hurled at you, this response does not retaliate. It simply reflects, it simply observes. Jung often emphasized that projection is the mechanism by which the unconscious influences our perception. By using this phrase, you subtly point to that projection, inviting the other person to recognize their own impulses. Without a word of judgment from you, consider the wisdom of Stoic philosophers here, which aligns seamlessly with Jungian psychology. Marcus Aurelius, a man who ruled an empire with the calmness of a philosopher, wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." By responding with precision and reflection, you embody this principle. You remain unmoved by the chaos. You let the other person confront themselves. This is not arrogance, it is presence. It is awareness manifesting as eloquence. Now, let's introduce the third response, the one that has the capacity to disarm even the most skilled provocateur. Let's talk when we can do it respectfully. This is not avoidance. It is setting boundaries with dignity. Jung often spoke of the necessity of boundaries in psychological health. To engage with chaos on its terms is to surrender your autonomy. By stating this phrase calmly, you shift the axis of the conversation. You define the conditions under which dialogue can exist. And in doing so, you force the other person to confront their own inability to communicate without aggression. Each of these responses serves as a tool for psychological mastery, a bridge between understanding yourself and commanding the respect of others. They are not weapons. They are instruments of equilibrium, instruments that transform conflict into an arena for conscious engagement rather than reactive destruction. And herein lies the profound truth of Jung's insights. The external world responds to the structure of your inner world. When you are composed, articulate, and aware, the chaos of others cannot dictate your reality. Before we move forward to the fourth and fifth responses, phrases that deepen this mastery and allow you to navigate the most toxic of conversations, I want you to engage. Here's a practical exercise. In the comments below, type this ready-to-use phrase I've created for you. I speak from clarity, not from reaction. By doing this, you are claiming your own voice and acknowledging that mastery begins within. And while you're at it, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because in the next part, we will explore the remaining phrases that allow you to command any conversation with authority, serenity, and the kind of psychological insight that turns presence into power. These tools, grounded in Jungian philosophy and the wisdom of timeless thinkers, are more than conversation starters. They are manifestations of self-possession. The next responses will teach you to step away with grace, to maintain your dignity even when others seek to erode it, and to assert your individuality without aggression. Remember, mastery of words is mastery of the self, and mastery of the self is the foundation of a life lived with power, purpose, and profound impact. We now arrive at the fourth response, a phrase of profound finality and control. I'd prefer not to continue this conversation. This simple sentence is more than a refusal. It is a declaration of sovereignty over your mental space. Jung taught that the psyche requires boundaries. To engage endlessly with someone who refuses understanding is to invite erosion of your own mental integrity. By saying this, you reclaim your energy, your attention, and your authority. Imagine a scenario where someone is relentless, deliberately provoking, insisting on winning at all costs. Every word they speak is aimed at destabilizing you, testing your patience. In that moment, instead of reacting impulsively, you simply state with calm certainty, I'd prefer not to continue this conversation. Notice the shift. The tension drops, the provocation loses its grip, and your dignity remains intact. You are no longer a participant in a battlefield defined by their impulses. You have defined your own terrain. Jung often emphasized the importance of individuation, the process of becoming your authentic self, separate from the collective pressures that try to dictate your behavior. This phrase is a manifestation of individuation. It is the conscious choice to protect your inner equilibrium while refusing to engage in conflict that serves no constructive purpose. In essence, it is not avoidance, it is mastery. Now, we arrive at the fifth and final response. That's your opinion and I respect it, but I don't share it. This phrase captures the delicate balance between acknowledgement and autonomy. Not all conflicts are with enemies. Often they are with friends, colleagues, or loved ones who, with good intentions, attempt to impose their worldview. By calmly stating this, you honor their perspective without surrendering your own. Think about it. Someone close to you insists on convincing you of a choice you do not wish to make, a belief you do not endorse, or a judgment you cannot accept. Instead of debating point by point or remaining silent to avoid tension, you assert with clarity, that's your opinion, and I respect it, but I don't share it. This phrase simultaneously sets a boundary and maintains connection. It is respectful yet firm, kind yet unyielding. Seneca said, "To be a slave to the opinion of others is the worst of all prisons." This response is a key to freedom. It grants you emotional independence, a quality that transforms not only how others perceive you, but how you perceive yourself. When someone realizes they cannot manipulate or provoke you, respect follows naturally. Presence becomes your ally. Clarity becomes your shield. Let us review the 5 phrases one more time, each a tool of mental sovereignty. I do not need to raise my voice to be heard. Your words reflect more about you than they do about me. Let's talk when we can do it respectfully. I'd prefer not to continue this conversation. That's your opinion and I respect it, but I don't share it. Notice a common thread? None of these phrases seek to humiliate, to dominate, or to coerce. They are not weapons. They are instruments of integrity, mirrors of your inner calm, and demonstrations of psychological mastery. As Jung would remind us, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. These phrases are not just about conversation. They are about claiming your presence, your authority, and your authentic self in every interaction. Now, it is time for you to take action. In the comments, share this ready-to-use phrase that I created for you. I respond with awareness, not impulse. Type it out and reflect on how it could transform your next conversation. Let the words anchor you in presence and clarity. And if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. By doing so, you will continue to receive practical insights rooted in psychology, philosophy, and the timeless wisdom of thinkers like Jung, empowering you to navigate life with poise, strength, and conscious mastery. Remember, the power of these phrases is not immediate dominance. It is the cultivation of inner authority. It is the subtle, undeniable force that shifts dynamics without aggression. As Jung taught, the unconscious reacts to awareness. When you operate from conscious mastery, the unconscious impulses of others, anger, manipulation, provocation, lose their leverage. You become a stabilizing force, someone who is observed, respected, and ultimately listened to. Practice these phrases daily. Notice how conversations transform. Notice how your calmness invites clarity. Notice how boundaries become invisible lines of respect that others instinctively honor. Each interaction is a mirror, and your words, chosen deliberately, shape not only what is said, but the energy of the exchange, and ultimately, the perception others have of you. As you step forward into your next conversation, remember this: true strength is silent, measured, and rooted in self-awareness. The voice that commands attention is not the loudest. It is the one that embodies clarity, integrity, and authenticity. These 5 responses are more than words. They are the embodiment of your conscious power. So take a moment now. Comment the phrase, I respond with awareness, not impulse. Reflect on it, practice it, and subscribe to this channel to continue receiving teachings that will transform not only how others perceive you, but how you perceive yourself. With each application, you are not just speaking, you are asserting the power of a mind aligned, a presence anchored, and a character strengthened, because at the end of the day, conversation is not about winning. It is about embodying wisdom, commanding respect, and living as your most authentic self. And that is the real power Jung invites us to claim. The power to master the self, and through mastery of the self, to shape the world around us without losing our integrity, our calm, or our dignity.